Hello and welcome to Bruce Springsteen Guitar Lessons. Today's lesson is Two Faces from Tunnel of Love. Be sure to follow to the end of the video as I'm going to be going through two electric guitar parts that aren't going to be in the walkthrough. So what I'll do now is play the whole song through and you'll see tab appear on the screen. Then I'll come back and go through all the individual parts. See you in a bit. Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. So now what I'm going to do is go through all the individual parts. Okay, so firstly, the song is in A major and we'll have a capo on the second fret. So this is for all the acoustic parts that I'm going to go through first. Cool, so the intro bit, I really like this rhythm because you've got lots of palm muting and you've got some sort of hammer-ons and things like that. Cool, so what happens is you come in on the and of 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. And you're sliding. I'm going to use my middle finger from the second fret to the third fret. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. And then basically the notes you're going to play on this third fret E string, I want you to palm mute. So and 1 and. Okay, and then I'm using my third finger or little finger to hit the open D string and the 4th fret G string together, because this is the first bit. So it's and 1 and 2. And then basically what's happening is you're kind of doing these notes here on the second fret G and the open D string, and then the 4th fret G and the open D string, and it kind of also the open D and the open G string together. So you're doing these things, and then in between it you've got this cool little sort of rhythmic pattern on the 3rd fret of the lower E string. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2. That's the first bit. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2, and then and 3. Okay, So that's the bit we've got so far. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and then 4 and. So 4 and the last two quavers of the bar. These are all quavers, by the way, or eighth notes. So half a beat each. Okay, so it's the same for all of this. In fact, most of the song uses quavers, which is 8 strums or picks in a bar. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Okay, now the next bit. Okay, it's just getting used to this kind of pattern, and then it gets a lot easier after that with the acoustic. It's more about the electric parts that we're going to go through a bit later. So the second bar, you're going to do this 4 with a D string. Then E string again, 3rd fret, then that 4th fret G and the open D string again. So it's 1 and 2, then back to the 3rd fret E string, 0, 2, back to that open 3rd fret E string, and then 2, 0 at the end of the second bar. So then in the first bar you went like this, and in the second bar you go. Okay, so those first 2 bars, I'll play them nice and slowly. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You get away with doing downstrokes here, it just gets a bit more of a nice rhythm going. Okay, 3rd bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so you start off with 2 3rd fret E strings, 1 and then the 4th fret with the open D again. Back to the 3rd fret E, then the 2nd fret, the G with the D string, back to the 3rd fret E, and then 0, 2. Okay, so any fretted notes we're basically combining with the open D string, the ones that are played on the G string, I mean. Okay, so I'm going to play the first 3 bars. So it's and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, one more time. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool, this next bit is a little bit more fiddly because you've got to do a grace note hammer on. So it's this 1, which is really cool. So you basically start, if you look at the tab and the walkthrough, you've got this tiny little 2nd fret, which is grace note, and you're hammering on straight away to the 4th fret. So you've got this 1 and 2. That sounds really cool. 1 and 2, then open strings, D and G, and then another grace note hammer on onto the 2nd fret D string 1. So it's 3 and 4 and. It's a really nice technique, this is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that the first 4 bars go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool, then we've got the 5th bar, which is 1 and 2 and. Here, but again, you don't have to get this exactly right. Some of these where it's the open strings, but as close as possible is what you want. So 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm doing the open D and G strings, and then I'm kind of hitting the D string. So 1 and 2 and then you've got another hammer on. This is the rhythm. It's 3 E and. So down, up, and I'll definitely pick that bit. Down, up to get the speed up. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 E and. The classic kind of like country style kind of riffs. It sounds really cool. So 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and. So first finger, middle finger. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then 2 quavers with the open D and G string at the end of the bar. Cool, and then it kind of goes to the E minor kind of section of this riff, which is 1 and. Now what I'm doing here is kind of barring the 2nd fret. It's going to be part of your E5 chord that we're going to go through later. So the E5 chord 0, 2, 2, 4. So little finger or 3rd finger there on the 4th fret G, and then bar. And basically what's going to happen is, or you don't even have to bar the A string for this part of the song. 1 and 2. So you're hitting the 2nd fret D, 4th fret G, and then you've got this kind of pedal note on the open E string. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so it's a really cool pattern this is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, it's all about this rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, and then the next bar goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So going 2 0 at the end. So a lot of it is really just getting where those kind of chord little double stops come in, and where you're playing the 3rd fret E and when you're playing the open E string. So those last 2 bars, so this is where it kind of goes to this E minor kind of bit. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool, and then it basically goes to the this bit here. So you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, which is this bar you had earlier in bar 3 anyway. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then you got this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 4, 3rd fret E, 4 in the D string again, and then open D with the 2nd fret, and then 0 2 again, and then you're doing open strings at the end. So those last 2 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool, so it's quite a little bit of a fiddly pattern, especially for as Bruce guitar goes. A lot of it is a lot more strumming based, but I do think it sounds really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that intro section just quite slowly all the way through. So. Cool, and that's pretty close to the original. And then basically in the first verse, he's doing exactly the same, but he's just cutting out. So bars 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are just simplified. So you're not doing all those hammer-ons. So bar 5 in the first verse, you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or something similar. Again, there's lots of layers on this song, so it's quite hard to pick out the exact strumming, but I think this is pretty close. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, instead of in the intro, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool, now the next bar, I'll just do basic those, and then 3rd fret E string, 2 quavers, 1 and then the rest of the bar, and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool, so again the first verse, I'll do exactly the same as the intro, but just change and simplify bars 4 and 5, okay? So 4 and 5 in the intro will go like this. 4 and 5 in the first verse will go like this. Cool, especially because he's singing as well, he wants to probably keep it simpler. Cool, so what I'll also do is put the song structure up on the screen now, and you should find that quite useful. Cool. The song structure will also be in the description. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go through the main chords, okay? So apart from the intro and the first verse, the rest of it is pretty simple downstroke strumming, apart from a few bits. So, because you've got those extra layers, you've got the kind of the organ, you've got the 2 electric guitar parts that we'll go through in a bit. Okay, so chord wise, I'm suggesting doing a kind of G chord, but all you're going to do is put your middle finger, 3rd fret E string, block the A string by using the underside for your middle finger, and then kind of hit the D, the G, and the B strings. You don't have to hit all of those every single time. You know, sometimes play, mix up those dynamics as well. And then got G5, which I've suggested in the chorus section. So G5, fret-wise, you've got 3, block the A string, open D, open G, 3rd fret B, and then 3rd fret E. Okay, and then you got E5, which you're kind of already familiar with in the intro. But this time you're going to be strumming it. So fret-wise, 0, 2, 2, 4, and then I'm barring using my first finger there on the A and D string, and then little finger on the 4th fret of the G. You could also use your 3rd finger. Okay, so that's E5, then E minor 7, we're going to use in the chorus. So fret-wise, 0, 2, 2, 0, 3, 3. You'll probably recognise that from Wonderwall. Cool, and then you've got C sus2. So you're going to play the 3rd fret A string. I'm blocking the D string, open G, 3rd fret B, 3rd fret E. So that's C sus2, and then A minor you're going to use in the guitar solo. Okay, which is 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, open A string. Cool. So there's not too many chords. Quite simple. This is some proper pop sort of songwriting from Bruce. I think it sounds brilliant. It's one of my favourite Tunnel of Love songs. I think it's amazing. Cool, so what we'll do is go through the strumming in the 2nd verse, okay? So really what you're doing is quavers, downstrokes, and palm mute them. So slightly soft. You don't want to be going a little bit softer on the strumming. So 5 bars of G, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then E5, 1, 2, then back to G, and then the last bar of the 2nd verse, you're going to do this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to just do an up, down, up, which I can hear on the record. So that's the last bar of the 2nd verse: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That sets yourself up nicely for the first chorus. And now in the first chorus, again, don't forget you can slow down the walkthrough on YouTube using the cog icon. Obviously the tabs popping in and out. So what I've done here is suggest some sort of accents. Well, not so much accents where you're palm muting some notes and you're not palm muting others. So what I'm going to do here, what you've got is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I think this sounds really nice. If you're not comfortable with that, you can just do carry on with your quavers, 1 and 2. I think it sounds quite nice, and you can kind of put this sort of strumming in later on in the song as well. So strumming wise, basically what you're going to do is not palm mute the first one, the and of 2, and I think the start of beat 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See what I mean? So I'm not palm muting the first, and of 2, and the start of beat 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's kind of used, that strumming style is used in punk rock as well, believe it or not. So it sounds really cool. So it's worth kind of learning how to do that. Okay, so we're going to use that strumming pattern for the first chorus. So let's go through the chords for that. So C sus2, G5, E minor 7, G5, C sus2, G5, E minor 7, C sus2, G5, 2 bars. Cool, so that was the first chorus. Now the 3rd verse, exactly the same as the 2nd verse, but you don't need to do that up, down, up at the end. Cool, so what we're going to do is go through the chords behind the guitar solo. So don't forget, any guitar solos will be, from now on, will be on Patreon. So if you wanted to get the guitar solos, head over to Patreon. This one, for example, will be available probably Sunday evening UK time. There's loads of other stuff on Patreon, backing tracks, etc. So yeah, there's a guitar solo. I think there's actually 2 guitar solos in this that harmonise. It sounds really cool. So yeah, that'll be available on Patreon. So that's patreon.com/Bruce Springsteen Guitar from Sunday evening. Cool, so I'm just going to go through the chords for the guitar solo. So you've got C sus2, E minor 7, C sus2, A minor again, then 4 bars of G. Cool, and I'm also, so now what we're going to do is go through the fourth verse. So in a minute, we'll also go through the electric bits that start the other electric part. So one electric part comes in on the second verse, the other electric part comes in on the fourth verse. So I'm just going to go through the chords that go behind the fourth verse. So you've got 5 bars of G, so 2, 3, 4, 5. Now instead of E5, this time it goes to C sus2 for 2 bars. And back to G for 2 bars. Now this time E5 for 4 bars. 2, 3, 4. Cool, and then the outro section is basically, you know, with the organ. I'm not Danny Federici, but I've done the best that I can on GarageBand. Okay, so the outro, again, the main part of that is that organ, but you can just do the standard second verse and third verse chords over the outro. So it's just 2 sets of those 9-bar progressions, and then on the record it fades out, but I've just suggested just playing a G to finish the song. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go through the 2 electric parts. So in the second verse, you've got this really cool repeating pattern that happens, and I think it goes something like this. So it's got a kind of auto wah kind of guitar setting or some modulation on there. You don't have to be too concerned about that. Even if you wanted to practice it with a clean sound, that would sound pretty cool. Okay, so what I think is happening is something like this, where you're palm muting the open A string twice. Again, all quavers, 8th notes, half a beat each. So downstrokes, 1, and then you kind of got this A partial bar. So 2, 2, 2 on the D, the G, and the B strings. 1 and 2 and 3. So 2 open A strings, palm muted again, and then it kind of A add 9 kind of chord. So fret wise, 2, 4, and then 2. So 2, you can either use your little finger there. In fact, it's probably more comfortable to use your little finger. So 2, 4, 2 on the D, the G, and the B strings. Okay, and then it does this for the last 3 strums. Something like that. I think he does randomize it on the record. He might do a slightly different rhythm. He might not even do the open A strings, but it sounds a little bit more rhythmic, and it sounds really cool. So again, it just really adds that extra layer to the sound. I think that sounds awesome. So what you've got again is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There's something like that that's going through pretty much the whole of the song. Some of the guitar parts it might drop out, for example, the guitar solo and bits of the chorus, so it might kind of sort of really bring it down in the mix, but it's a really cool part. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's the chords again are A, and then you're kind of, for the other chord, put your little finger on the 4th fret of the G string. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a look at the third guitar part. So in the start of the 4th verse, you've got this picking pattern that comes in. It's quite subtle, but it sounds really cool. It adds that extra depth and layer to the song. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the capo on the 7th fret. And what we're doing is interchanging between a D sus2 chord. So that's 0, 2, 3, 0, and a D major chord. So 0, 2, 3, 2. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to come in on the and of 4 with a 3rd fret B string. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Okay, and then you've got this 8 notes, that kind of 1-bar phrase that just keeps repeating over. So open E string, then 3rd fret B, 2nd fret E, then back to that 3rd fret B. So those first 4 notes, apart from that extra 3rd fret B, goes like this. So 0, open E, 3rd fret B, middle finger back on the E string, and then 3rd fret B. So you got this opening note, and then 1 and 2 and. And then what you do is you take your middle finger off again, and then open E, 3rd fret B, 2nd fret G, and then 3rd fret B. Okay, so this 1-bar phrase goes like this. Okay, so open E, 3rd fret B, 2nd fret E, 3rd fret B, open E, 3rd fret B, 2nd fret G, and then 3rd fret B. Okay, and then you've got this extra note at the start just before it comes in on the and of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this 1 bar phrase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and that 1 bar phrase just continues. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, and 2. So that sounds really cool. Okay, so again, you might be varying that up a little bit. Again, it's quite low down in the mix, but I think it really sounds cool on that start of that 4th verse. So don't forget to check the song structure and description as well, if you're struggling with the song order or where parts come in. Cool, so that's all the main parts. Again, what I'll be doing is a guitar solo video available to patrons, and that'll be released Sunday evening. And if you want to get the tab during all these breakdown sections and chord charts, again, head over to Patreon as well. That's patreon.com/Bruce Springsteen guitar. Cool, so I hope you enjoyed this. There's a lot of stuff there. I love this song. I think it's a ton of love. It's such an underrated album. Let me know what your favourite Bruce album is in the comments. Yeah, so if you've liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know any questions or suggestions in the comments. And again, thanks very much for watching. Thanks again for all my patrons for supporting the channel. And I'll see you next week. Cheers, bye.